In this video, I'm going to show you how to test the null hypothesis that there is no association between goal setting behavior and GPA, grade point average, at university. So this study involved a number of students equal to 166 participants who completed a goal setting questionnaire, and it's averaged across the items. And there's also GPA, which is essentially an average itself. So before I run the analysis, I'll point out that the data look continuous in nature rather than ordinal. And so I wouldn't want to conduct a Spearman correlation on these data. I'd rather do a Pearson correlation analysis. But before I do so, I'd like to check the descriptive statistics just to see what I'm dealing with in terms of whether there are any distributional issues related to skew and kurtosis. And I'll look at mean and standard deviation and min and max at the same time. I would always do that as a general statement. And we can look at the histograms as well. And let's check this out. And we can see that skew again is very low, 0.169 and negative 0.223. And kurtosis is very well behaved. And the minimum and the maximum values are consistent with the notion that, oh, it does look like we do have one value equal to 6.85 in this case, which may be an outlier. I don't want to deal with that in this video here about whether it's an outlier. We're going to assume that it's not. I actually don't think it is an outlier, but we ideally would do some further analyses to find out exactly. We do have GPA here, which is skewed. So we do have some skew here associated with GPA, which is negatively skewed. But you can see that numeric, it looks much worse than it really is because we have this really big number of people who have a GPA of 4. And that is how the data worked out to correspond to a mean of 2.95 and a standard deviation of 0.671, which was reported in the study. So overall, I would still conduct a Pearson correlation on these data, and I would do it with normal theory estimation. But I would also follow it up with some bootstrapping just to really be sure about the p-value and the confidence intervals if I estimated those. So I'm going to do it both ways. I'm going to estimate the correlation and the p-value through normal theory estimation. And this is the Pearson selected here. I'm going to click OK. And here's the correlation of 0.41, and it's p less than 0.00. And I'm going to get these p-values out because I'm going to compare it with the bootstrapping, which I'm going to use in this case because I'm a little uncomfortable with the possibility that there's an outlier, and that although this is not very substantially skewed, I'm just going to confirm my result with the bootstrapping. So click on Analyze, Correlate and Bivariate, and Bootstrap 1000, and I'm going to click on Bias Corrected. Now you might not have this module installed in your version of SPSS. It's a separate add-on as of 2016 anyway. So click on OK, and the computer does 1000 resamples of the data in order to estimate the confidence intervals. And we can see that the very same correlation was estimated at 0.41. So higher levels of goal setting are associated with higher performance in GPA. And the bootstrap confidence intervals equal 0.275 and 0.530. And because both the lower and the upper bound are on the same side, which in this case turned to be positive, we would reject the null hypothesis of no association between GPA and goal setting. And that's true on bootstrapping, and that's true with normal theory estimation. SPSS doesn't give you a p-value. It just says that the correlation is significant at two-tailed, but that's actually based on the normal theory estimation here. It's not the p-value. This p-value here is not the bootstrap p-value. It's the same one that you get with the normal theory estimation. 0.042 and 0.04. It's obviously more than just 1.0, but 42 ending 42. But the bootstrap confidence intervals still support the notion that the null hypothesis should be rejected. So these data were a little bit trickier. I wanted to supplement with the bootstrapping, but the ultimate result, rejecting the null hypothesis, is on the probabilities the best course of action here.